So I've chatted about Belize and Cook Islands, Cayman Islands, Estonia, and the like, and I want to add one to the list, and that's the BVI's, British Virgin Islands, as a possible crypto destination. And I've grown increasingly frustrated with like the Estonia, Switzerland crowd, and like I've talked about it before, and now Gibraltar kind of adds to that list. What I don't get is if you're planning an ICO or something like that, and you're looking for a friendly jurisdiction, why do you go to a jurisdiction that already has regulation that would inure or relate to your ICO that you're going to be doing outside the country, right? You're not going to domicile in Gibraltar for your ICO, so you can cater to and offer your ICO to like the 20,000 odd people who live in Gibraltar, right? That doesn't make any sense. Same with Estonia, and to a lesser extent Switzerland. They're small countries. You won't do it, especially considering most ICOs you're just trying to attract U.S. investors and the like. So it doesn't make any sense why people want to flock to where there's regulation when there's no regulation to be had somewhere else. So I like the term crypto agnostic, right? I think that's the best way to sort of evaluate jurisdictions. You're talking about the friendliness to cryptocurrency, because the absence of regulation is probably the best thing that you're going to get. And so the BVIs is increasingly better only because they've yet to do anything that suggests that they're going to regulate ICOs, whereas you see some activity within the Cayman Islands and other places where they want to regulate that, and they want to regulate ICOs that are domiciled or rising from their borders, even though you may not be offering it to the people of that jurisdiction. So it allows you this sort of extra jurisdictional bent, but now that's being shut down when countries want to jump on the bandwagon of regulating crypto and ICOs that they don't clearly understand. So I like the BVIs. Few reasons. One, obviously no tax, crypto agnostic. They have no crypto regulation, just simply form an offshore corporation with the intent to offer the ICO outside of the BVIs, which obviously you would. There's no capital requirements, so Switzerland's very big with that, where you have to provide financial statements with your corporations. You have to have a certain requisite capital to form companies in certain instances, and you have to show a certain amount of net capital in certain instances. None of that's worth it. None of that is like worth it. Showing 50,000 marks on your books is not worth it. That does not make any sense. But the BVI really provides all of that. And I think what differentiates BVIs versus a Belize or Nevis, which I'm a huge proponent of Nevis, and I think I've been one of the leading proponents of Nevis, BVIs has got an optic bent that none of the other crypto-friendly jurisdictions that I've talked about before really have, right? Estonia may, Switzerland may, but the BVIs, the optics are good, right? If you look at, BVIs is the number one offshore incorporation destination by volume, right? And then you also look at the number of like legitimate large traditional hedge funds which are based there. There's quite a few. Between Cayman Islands, that's 90 some odd percent of the world's hedge funds are domiciled in one or two locations. So you have this optic bent, which I get the question more and more, and it's like, well, will the optics be right? Will the optics be right if I want to approach high net worth? Would the optics be right if I want to approach institutions? And I think that's a pretty hard sell, or a pretty easy sell, to say that the optics are correct with BVIs, because it's sort of an accepted offshore jurisdiction, whereas Nevis and Belize, while ideal, and they suit the needs of crypto investors because that's just the nature of crypto, your more traditional investor may not find BVIs to be so piratey, for lack of a better word. So, for the tax reasons, the lack of regulation, right, the crypto agnosticism, as I like to call it, as well as very affordable incorporation fees, about twice that of Nevis, and no capital requirements, and then obviously privacy, right? Obviously privacy is a huge thing in crypto, and there's a very, you do have some fairly strict, not as good and strong as Belize and Nevis and Cook Islands, but you can incorporate something, and understand with a fair degree of certainty that it'll be a private corporation, private transaction. So that's my take on the BVIs. It's coming up. That could obviously change. I can't see anything or haven't been able to research anything that would indicate that they are attempting to regulate crypto. I think there was some groundswell of support to sort of not regulate it, which, again, the absence of regulation is what you obviously would be looking for. It's not running to places like Estonia and Gibraltar that pass laws, right? That doesn't quite make a great deal of sense to me, but people will undoubtedly disagree. So feel free to comment. Feel free to comment below as you do. So hey, check me out, tracyfirm.com. My email, everything's in the below comments. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Love to hear from you. Thank you.